The problem isn't that you don't know how to live longer. It's that evening routines marketed to seniors often work against longevity. Those sleep supplements, heavy protein shakes, and late-night news habits, they're actually uncommon among people who consistently reach 100. When scientists from the Longevity Institute compared the evening habits of average seniors to centenarians, they identified 5 distinct differences that appeared regardless of culture, income, or education. These simple practices appear to activate what researchers call longevity pathways that many modern evening routines inadvertently suppress. Let me tell you, I've seen a lot of health trends come and go. Everything from protein shakes thick as cement to mountains of steak at dinner, all promising to make us stronger and live longer. But over the years, I started to wonder if maybe, just maybe, we've been barking up the wrong tree with these heavy evening meals. You want to know a secret to living well into your 90s and beyond? Ask the folks in the so-called blue zones, places like Okinawa or Sardinia, where centenarians are as common as dandelions in spring. Their trick isn't a powder or a pill. In Okinawa, they practice hara hachi bu, putting the chopsticks down when they're about 80% full. Imagine stopping with a little room left in the tank. In Sardinia, supper might just be a bowl of veggie soup, a sliver of bread, and sometimes a tiny splash of local wine. No late-night feasting, no protein-packed shakes before bed. I know, it sounds odd, especially in a world where dinner's the main event, but your body's not built to run on all cylinders after dark. By evening, your metabolism is winding down with the sun, and your insides are slowing up for the night shift. Big meals at this hour don't bring strength. They take it, gumming up your gears, muddying your sleep, and piling on wear and tear where you least want it. Modern research is finally catching up to what these elders seem to know by heart. Studies show that when we eat lighter, earlier dinners, our sleep deepens, inflammation drops, and the body gets a chance to turn its attention from digesting to repairing, fixing up cells, balancing hormones, giving our immune system a little TLC. Even cancer outcomes improve with a long nighttime fast. If you need a visual, it's like trying to clean your house with a crowd of guests still milling around. Doesn't work so well, does it? But send them home early, and suddenly you've got space to tidy things up right. So what's a blue zone style dinner? Something simple, small, plant-heavy, and eaten at least a few hours before bed. Maybe a bit of soup, roasted veggies, a handful of greens. And remember, satisfaction, not stuffing yourself, that's the name of the game. Changing dinner habits might feel strange at first, I won't lie, but give it a try. Move supper a little earlier, make it a little lighter. Your body just might thank you with sleep like you haven't had in years. A clearer mind, maybe even a longer life. Turns out, sometimes the oldest wisdom is still the best, and it can be found right on your dinner plate as the sun goes down. You know, when I was coming up, the only nightly glow we had was from a porch light or maybe a lantern if the power was out, which happened more often than you'd think. These days, you walk into any house after dark, and you're greeted by a parade of screens, all buzzing with news, texts, and that endless stream of just one more episode. I see it with my own grandkids, phones in one hand, TV remote in the other, and I can't help but laugh. In all the fancy progress, we've managed to turn bedtime into rush hour for our brains. But here's the kicker. Folks in those blue zones, places where living to 100 isn't just some wild story, but an everyday affair. They never needed a digital detox because they never had digital trouble in the first place. When the sun goes down in Ikaria or Nicoya, you'll find people playing cards, swapping stories, or just sitting together letting the day wind down the old-fashioned way. No emails, no scrolling, no harsh blue glow to trick the mind. Turns out, that makes a world of difference. Science says when you flood your eyes with screen light in the evening, it's like telling your brain, "Hey, it's noon, time to be alert," just as your body's begging for rest. Melatonin, the magic dust that helps you drift off, doesn't stand a chance. And let me tell you, you can get 8 hours with your phone by the bed and still wake up feeling like you wrestled a bear all night. Been there, done that. There's real power in a simple evening, screen-free. Your mind unwinds, your heart slows down, and deep sleep comes easier. That's when the real housekeeping happens. Memories get stored, stress gets swept out, and even your heart gets a break. Now, I know you're not about to toss your phone out the window, and I wouldn't ask you to. But maybe, an hour before bed, you close the laptop, silence the phone, and pick up a book or chat with someone you love. Start small, 15, 20 minutes, and see how your sleep changes. Heck, you might even have a dream or two worth remembering. If you ask me, sometimes the secret to a long, good life isn't adding more, it's giving yourself a little less. Less noise, less light, and a whole lot more calm as the sun goes down. Give it a try. Your body and your dreams just might thank you. You know, these days, everyone's glued to their screens. Not long ago, I watched my grandson eat dinner with one hand and text with the other. Didn't spill a single bean, which I admit was impressive, but I couldn't help but wonder. When was the last time any of us just sat together, face to face? No gadgets, no beeps or buzzes, just people? It's a strange thing. We're more connected than ever, but I see more folks end their evenings staring at a phone, feeling lonelier than a tumbleweed in the desert. You can have 500 Facebook friends, but when life hits you sideways at 10 o'clock at night, who really shows up at your door? Now, back in those places where folks routinely hit 100 and still chase the grandkids around, Sardinia, Okinawa, you name it, the evenings look mighty different. After supper, nobody races off to their own little corners with a glowing rectangle. Nope. You'll find 3, sometimes 4 generations out on the porch or around the kitchen table, swapping stories, teasing each other, solving the world's problems, or just enjoying the sound of crickets in each other's company. The best medicine, far as I can tell. Funny thing about real connection, your body knows it. Spend an evening laughing with the family or chatting with an old friend, and you get a dose of oxytocin, the hug hormone. Your stress melts, your worries set down their baggage for the night. Compare that to scrolling through news and memes. Sure, you might get a little jolt of dopamine here and there, but it's a poor substitute for the real thing. Your brain isn't fooled. Okinawa even has a word for these bonds. Moai. Imagine a group of friends who stick together through thick and thin, from kindergarten to wrinkled wisdom, always there to hear your troubles or celebrate your wins. Their secret to sticking around so long? They don't call it a longevity hack. They just call it living. Science backs it up too. Turns out, real evening connection doesn't just fill your heart. It calms your nerves, improves your sleep, and even boosts your chances of living a little longer. In places like Loma Linda, folks aren't counting calories at sunset. They're heading to church, a book club, or just their neighbor's porch for a slice of pie and conversation. So, how do you bring a bit of that magic into a modern life? You don't need a passport or a time machine. Maybe it's a weekly family dinner, phones in the basket, stories on the table. Maybe you revive the lost art of dropping in on a neighbor, or start a small tradition. Board games on Friday, phone calls before bed, or sharing a cup of tea with someone you love, just because. And if the idea feels overwhelming, start small. Call an old friend instead of scrolling. invite someone over for a chat. Even one evening a week can begin to patch those holes in your social fabric. What the oldest folks have taught me is this: they're not sharing laughter to ward off disease or hugging their grandkids to boost their immune system. They do it because it feels good, it makes sense, and it's how they make sense of the world. The health benefits? Just icing on the cake. When we reclaim our evenings for real connection, we're not just chasing longer life. We're making the life we've got a whole lot richer. And at the end of the day, or the end of a long life, I reckon that's what truly matters. Let me tell you something I've learned the long way. Sometimes, a little gentleness goes a mighty long way, especially when the sun's going down. These days, folks are hooked on the idea that if you don't leave the gym drenched in sweat, it doesn't count. You see people pounding out burpees at 9 o'clock at night, chasing that feeling that they've crushed it, like the fitness magazines say. I used to think maybe I was missing out, but then I started paying attention to the folks who actually make it to 100 and do it with a smile. Now, if you find yourself in Icaria or Sardinia after supper, you're not going to stumble across a bunch of seniors grunting away on treadmills. Nope. You'll see them out strolling slowly down the lane. Wives, husbands, grandkids, a cousin or two, maybe the neighbor's dog. It's not a race, and nobody's wearing a heart rate monitor. They call it passeggiata over there, a fancy word for something we've always done. Just walking and talking, letting dinner settle, and waving at friends as the sky turns pink. Here's why that matters. When you go hard at the gym close to bedtime, your body gets all fired up. Stress hormones rise, body temp climbs, and your poor brain gets tricked into thinking it's party time, not bedtime. Dr. Matthew Walker, smart fellow in the sleep world, says those late-night HIIT sessions put the brakes on sleep by keeping melatonin at bay. No wonder you toss and turn, counting sheep that just won't show up. But gentle movement, that's a different story. Light walks, a few gentle stretches, maybe a little slow dancing in the living room. Don't laugh, your grandma still loves it. These little rituals help your body wind down, clear out your blood sugar, and give your joints some love without throwing your system into high alert. It's exercise that actually helps you rest. And the best part? You don't need fancy shoes, a gym membership, or even a plan. You just need to step outside or move around your living room. The people in blue zones don't think of it as exercise. It's just part of living. Tending the garden, watering the flowers, visiting a neighbor, or just getting some air before bed. Simple as that. The science backs it up, too. Gentle post-meal movement keeps your joints happy and helps prevent falls as you clock more years. It keeps your muscles awake and your heart in good shape, but it doesn't exhaust your recovery system. Better sleep, steadier blood sugar, and you're more likely to keep moving, decade after decade. So next time you feel guilty skipping that hardcore spin class at night, just remember, a gentle walk or light stretch might be the most hardcore thing you can do for your future self. In the end, longevity's not about showing off or maxing out. It's about moving kindly with your body, one peaceful evening at a time. If you ask me, the folks who age best are the ones who know when to take it easy, to stroll instead of sprint. And as someone who's tested both, I'll take a sunset walk, with good company every time. You know, these days, folks will try just about anything to shake off stress before bed. Special pillows, lavender sprays, meditation apps that sound fancier than a Sunday brunch menu. But let me tell you, the oldest, happiest people I've ever met rely on something a whole lot simpler. And you don't have to pay a dime for it. Back when I was a kid, we didn't call it stress management. But every night my folks would take a few quiet minutes before lights out. Sometimes a gentle prayer, sometimes just sitting together, talking through whatever the day had thrown at us. Later in life, I found out folks in places like Loma Linda and Icaria do the very same thing. They don't buy expensive gadgets. They just pause, breathe, and let go of the day. In Loma Linda, I met an old fellow who every evening would bow his head for a simple prayer. Not to rack up good points with the man upstairs, but to put his worries down for the night. "You can't carry today's troubles into tomorrow's dreams and expect to rest," he'd say. Turns out the researchers agree. This little pause lowers stress, calms the heart, and helps you sleep like a baby. Japan's got their own twist on this. Folks there practice Nikan reflection, just a few minutes to think over. What did I receive today? What did I give? Did I accidentally step on anyone's toes? Doesn't take long, but boy, it helps put everything in its place before closing your eyes. And over in Icaria, if something's on your chest, you talk to your spouse, your neighbor, maybe even your cat. Get it off your mind and out of your body. I know a few people here who do their best winding down with a pencil and paper in hand, jotting down what's weighing heavy or what they're thankful for. Science now says those folks fall asleep faster, sleep better, and have less of that sneaky inflammation that wears us down over the years. Here's the thing. You don't have to clear your mind perfectly like some Zen master. You don't need fancy mantras or subscriptions. Just 5 minutes, no screens, no distractions. Think about what made you smile today, what you're grateful for, or who made your day a little bit brighter. If something's bugging you, write it down. It's amazing how tiny habits can wash away big worries. We spend so much time and money looking for the right fix, but sometimes the answer's as simple as giving yourself permission to end the day on a gentle note. Clean your mental slate, leave your troubles by the bedside, and start tomorrow lighter. So tonight, give it a try. Those wise old souls aren't just living longer, they're resting easier too. And if it worked for them, I'd wager it's worth a shot for you and me. You know, folks these days love to brag about how little sleep they can get by on, or how they make up for a rough week by sleeping in till noon on Saturday. Back in my day, nobody tracked hours with fancy gadgets or counted every wink. Most of us just followed the sun, and it turns out the old ways got it right. See, when researchers went hunting for secrets in places where folks hit 100 and keep on going, they didn't find people sleeping more. They found people sleeping steady. Doesn't matter if it's Monday or Sunday, those centenarians go to bed and get up just like clockwork. No snooze button required. Now I get it. Having a set bedtime might sound boring, like something only kids and farm animals do. But let me tell you, your body loves a good routine. Inside, you've got clocks ticking away, keeping your hormones, your energy, and your cell repair on schedule. Throw them off with those wild weekend hours and, well, your whole orchestra goes out of tune. That social jet lag can do more harm than a plain old short night's sleep ever could. In Okinawa, you won't catch grandma clutching a sleep tracker or worrying about her sleep debt. She just wakes up before sunrise like she's done since she was a girl. In Nicoya, folks drift off soon after sunset and let the morning light do the waking. That rhythm? It keeps every part of the body humming, even if their sleep isn't always perfect. I'm not saying you can't ever enjoy a slow Sunday morning, but jumping between 6 a.m. wake-ups on weekdays and 10 a.m. lie-ins on weekends, well, your insides feel like you've taken a trip to Europe and back. No wonder Mondays hit so hard. So here's my old man advice. Try to keep your bedtime and wake-up time within an hour every day. Yes, even on weekends. Give your body a routine it can trust. You might just find yourself feeling more refreshed, with a little less need for all that coffee. It ain't about being perfect. It's about being steady. Turns out, a long life is less about chasing hours, and more about respecting the rhythm that's already beating inside you. After all these decades, I'd say that's a tune worth sticking to. You see, the true secret isn't hidden in some complicated plan or strict rulebook. It's found in the gentle rhythm of living simply and in tune with our nature. The folks in the blue zones don't count calories or chase after exercise trends. They just walk, share meals, laugh, and go to bed with the sun. They trust the wisdom of ordinary days, and those small, steady choices have quietly carried them further than most. So tonight, don't wait for perfect. Just trade one heavy habit for something lighter. A quiet moment away from the screen, a humble supper shared, an earlier walk beneath the stars. These modest steps might seem like whispers now, but when you look back, you'll see they echoed across years, adding up to a life well and truly lived. Remember, it's not about adding years to your life, but life to your years. The path to 100 isn't paved with effort, but with ease, kindness, and the courage to live simply. The next chapter of longevity begins with the smallest turn in the right direction. Love feeling energized, healthy, and wise after 60? Then hit subscribe right now. Join our Wisdom Age Health community, and let's age gracefully together. See you in the next video.